In front of you here is none other than Professor Lecturer Clergy Bishop Kenya Michael Loltome, United States of Kenya Republic Presidential Aspirant, come 2022, God willing, or August precisely, 9, 2022. Yes, I'm actually having that ambition of, wanting to rule Kenya. If God open a way, then in that case, using his own ordinary God-fearing people to elect me. I am actually a bit in confusion as far as that kind of ambition is concerned, simply because now our president has now closed Jubilee, which I was vying for that ticket. He has actually scrapped off that position of elective position of presidency, executive office, elective position. So normally we spiritual leaders, we know that God has a way where there's no way. So remember to pray for me and know that I have that ambition. I've prepared a government long time ago, which of course all Kenyans have agreed to be the best. Here it is. It's called Jubilee Reformation Movement, JRM. And now I'm now heading towards independence in that case. In this government, if you go to Facebook, Instagram, and other channel like YouTube, you will see all the leaders are here. I being president here, my vice president here, and then Barret Well, His Excellency. His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, head of state, would have been my prime minister, and still he is. If God open a way for me even to use independent, you believe independent in that case, and with these two prime ministers, like what our president, retired president, Kibaki did, His Excellency, to Raila Odinga, who became actually powerful prime minister with the two premiers of his choice. That was actually our incumbent head of state, Muigai Kenyatta, vice, and also Musalia Mudavadi, the former vice president, also and vice prime minister. They have ruled us during my Kibaki regime, or reign, or rule that case. With or without the referendum, I'm going to have a government with the prime minister and powerful, in that case. And Vision 2027, I do have also retired President of the United States of America, His Excellency Barack Hussein Obama, to succeed me according to Kenyan vision. They want him because we have a lot of debt in the country, and we believe possibly is only a solution to that problem. So, and many Kenyans told me if I win, I will only be there for 60 months or 5 years. And as a spiritual leader, once I commit to my agreement with God and human beings, I don't normally break. So I believe I will be there for 5 years, precisely. If I will be elected on August 9, 2022, I will leave office on August 9, 2022, precisely. So to let Obama come and help us to offset the kind of debt we are having now, about 12 trillion. So pray for us, because that is the nature of this Kenya today. And anyway, I'm also a lecturer clergy, being a political preacher in that case, taught many colleges, including government, paramilitary general service unit, and equivalent force to Kenya Army. We normally refer them an official force, which is paramilitary general service unit for 12 years, 2004 to 2016, 2004 and to 2016. Here in Nairobi National Government Utawala College, here in Nairobi, Bakasi East Constituency. Among other colleges, beside African Land Church, beside Bible College, Narrow County Government, Covenant College of Mission, the same place, and also here in Nairobi online study degree level student from Presbyterian University of East Africa, as well as Muigai French Theological College, pastors of the Salvation Army Corps here in Nairobi. I used to coach them. Otherwise, today we want to see the Word of God in relation to Kenya politics today, and our topics about who is my neighbor. In this kind of crisis now we are facing in Kenya, I said yesterday about the destruction of Jesus Christ. We are now facing with a lot of death still, with people dying because of lack of resources here in Kenya. and the other countries too. Who will be your neighbor in that case? Who is my neighbor? You know, this is a very important question. Now, I'm now living here in Embakasi village, Embakasi ward, ward assembly in Embakasi constituency, Nairobi national government. I have so many people around me, different ethnic group, tribes, Luya, Luo, Kisis, Wakambas, and name them Maasai, Samburu like me, because I'm a Samburu community, Maasai ethnic group. We have so many tribes of Kenya, close to 50, around me. Around my house, including even some who are displaced 2007, 2008, post-election violence that repeated 2017, who are behind my house, here in Embakasi village. Who is your neighbor? That is the question actually we want to say today, because now we are facing a lot of problems and we need to know who is our neighbors. Who is my neighbor? Does it mean that my neighbor should be only my tribe, that is Maasai community, Samburu community, or do I have an extension of neighbors? We want to say from the word of God, Luke 10, verses 30 to 37. Okay, in Luke 10, chapter 30 to 37, we are told here, in reply, Jesus said, a man was going down because he was asked, who is my neighbor, by one of the people. And Jesus narrated this story to him. In reply, Jesus said, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho when he fell into the hands of robbers. They stopped him and stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away leaving half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed on other side. That too saw a Levite. When he came to the place, he saw him and passed on other side. That three, but a Samaritan, as trouble came where a man was, and when he saw him, he took pity in him, and that day for he went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring oil and wine. Then he put the man on his donkey, took him into the inn and took big hotel, and take care of him. That 5, the next day he took out 2 silver coins and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you of any extra expense you may have. That 6, which of these 3 do you think was neighbor to the man who fell to the hand of the robbers? The experts in the law replied, the one who had mercy on him. Jesus told him, go and do likewise. So the key verse here is 37. The key verse here is 37. We are told the person now who is a neighbor here was the person who had mercy of that man who was actually robbed and beaten seriously, and the person actually who had mercy on him, who took care of all his expenses in the medical bills, is the person we normally regard as a neighbor. So Jesus told that person, go and do the likewise, do the same. So a neighbor, in short, in that case, is someone who will save you under your problems. It's not only your tribe. I am helped by even some other tribes more than my tribe, myself, Maasai community, Samburu. I was helped by so many outside my tribe friends, more than my tribe. I have a testimony in that. Black and white, even people from America, even from Britain, even from Kenya, different tribes. They have helped me more than even Samburu community where I was born. So remember today, your neighbor is someone who is there to help you. We are told there are 3 classes of human beings. One of them was mentioned as a priest. In Luke 10, verses 31 to 33, we had a priest, a religious person like me. Okay? That man came and passed the person. We have also another class called Levites, an assistant of that priest, like deacons in the church, like, people who are church workers. They also, one of them came and passed the person. But a Samaritan, we are told another person who is non-religious, is not a religion group person. is just a person who is regarded as a, a despised class. Mtu ambaye anadharauliwa. Samaritan. In the land of Israelites have been people who are seen as if they are despised people. This is the kind of a person who helped this man. It's not a Jew in that case, but it was another group called Samaritan, despised. Ni watu walikuwa nadharauliwa. Okay, every community has some class of human beings who are regarded as lower class. Every tribe, for reason we don't know, but one of them, and normally they create a lot of tension. That's why if you read even John 4:9, you will say, when people now are not showing others respect, there will be a tension, like now Jewish and Samaritan. So a person today, because of this suffering of Kenyans, a person who is next to you, even your neighbor, a person whom you will be assisting you is your neighbor. That is actually the person who is your neighbor. Kuna mwingine hata nyumba ikishika moto anasema ushomeke kabisa. He is not helping you and he is your neighbor. That is not a neighbor. Even your own brother, even your own sister, even your own mother, even your own whatever is not mentioned here. The person who is your neighbor is whoever helps you. Hata kuna watu wanakataliwa na wasasi, wachokora, adopted children, and they end up, being brought up. Even some of them became even kings. Like Ali Mariam Mengistu, President Prime Minister Ali Mariam Mengistu. One time rule actually, he was actually brought up by King El Selassie. He was adopted son. And he overthrew that person again later on. He was not a good neighbor. And himself also was overthrown. So imagine a person who has brought you from your chokora or from your lower level, you don't have and this person adopt you. He gave you again to become a big person in the army, all right, commander-in-chief of Ethiopian army, Ali Mariam Mengistu, and then the man ended up overthrowing the King Ali Selassie, okay, and actually tortured him seriously, to die, okay. Eating together with dog's food. It was actually the worst scenario on earth. That the king died eating together with the king's dog's food. And the king refused later on to eat together with the dogs and died of hunger. So that is the kind of human beings, is not actually the way people normally reward others. Okay? Usisaidia mtu wa kufikiria atakusaidia. Bengine mtu atakuja hata kukuua mara nyingine. But nevertheless, we are told a person who is showing you mercy is your neighbor. That king, the person who he has actually assisted, was not a good neighbor. When he became now the chief of general staff, after he appointed him, he ended up overthrowing him and killed him again. So human beings, that is the nature of sinful human beings. So I'm just giving a good example. There are so many people who have helped myself. Even when I was actually doing with some organization of Americans, I used to sponsor children. We used to sponsor some of them are disabled, and now they are big people here in Nairobi. Sometimes even when I meet them, they told me they don't know me. They have forgotten me, and even their parents. One time I met one of them with his own mother. The one he brought the child and I took to Azungu to help. The mother of that man did not recognize me. Who are you? The child was big also because he was having amputated leg, and we gave him artificial leg. And we trained him. He is actually now a very big prominent man, an accountant of one of the universities, Strathmore. The man does not recognize me. That I'm helping. Among many others, wanakurudia kukuumiza wakati wewe umemsaidia. Kwa hivyo ujue kwamba ukisaidia mtu ni Mungu peke yake ndio anaweza kukumbuka mara zingine. Although some may remember, but almost 95% watakurudia kukuua ama kukuchukia ama kukuambia kuna kitu ulitufanyia. Okay, even recently President Uhuru Kenyatta, to conclude this matter, said his house, Jubilee, was caught on fire. And he told the whole world that our President Uhuru Kenyatta said he decided to run and seek help from opposition, whom he thought was an enemy. And he was helped, the way he has said. Alright? He said now opposition took him, but not freely. He has bribed them. He gave them a lot of money. Okay? Not freely. It was not a mercy. So they are not a good neighbors either. If now they will win election also, they may also put him in. Because now his house got on fire. He has fought his own house. The deputy president ran away with all of government, members of parliament from Senate and National Parliament. His Excellency Dr. William Samuel Ruto left that place forever. Is now the chairman of United Democratic Alliance Opposition Party and the presidential aspirant. Muigai Kenyatta said actually he was left with so few Jubilee ruling table government members of parliament from both houses, and he was unable to run the government. So he took all the money of government to Raila Odinga, and they signed what we normally refer as handshake. Okay, on March 9, 2018. So Raila Odinga did not receive this man by show of mercy, like a good Samaritan, but he was given a lot of money. So there's no love there. It is materialistic love. So how Raila will choose a senior running mate now will be done by Muigai Kenyatta. Here it is. Alright? He is claiming now Muigai Kenyatta is no longer now in government, he is now in opposition. He is the chairman of 20 parties. And is going to choose for Raila Odinga a running mate. Okay? Why? Because Mushijo ya Ukora, it is written here. And you can see that Muigai Kenyatta is saying his friend now is scratching his head. Raila Odinga and also another opposition leader also called UDA, His Excellency Deputy President is also scratching his head. Here it is. They are now got in dilemma because of this party primaries, political party primaries. Most of their, big wings are being actually, people have said, no, we don't do human beings. They are all removed. They are now having new people whom they don't know their faith, whether it will support them or not, because now this is actually people have spoken. Alright? So Raila Odinga now is no longer an effective, opposition leader, but is now having another opposition leader who is Kenya President. Muigai Kenyatta has joined him recently on March last month. He is now the chairman of 20 opposition parties. 20 opposition parties. And he is deputy of 12 opposition parties as the leader. So the question is, who will be our neighbor now to help us when August 9, 2022 election comes in? Nani atasaidia sisi sasa wengine now? Kwa sababu serikali yote imeenda opposition. The whole government is now in opposition. Who will now help us in that crisis? Alright? If things are to happen. Who will save us? Who will be a good Samaritan to help us if we are to fight each other, God forbid. Because now we are going to one election, like when you are having an exam and you don't have supervisors in a supervision room. You don't have security, you don't have supervisors to supervise the candidates. Now, how will that exam look like? Because that's now the Kenya election of August 9, 2022. The two principles we are relying on, the president and the deputy president, are already in opposition. So who will supervise now our election come August 9, 2022 as our good neighbor who will have mercy on us, that we will not harm each other and he will not also harm us? That's now my question today. Okay? Yes. And how come that the government now in opposition, the whole government, the two principals, the whole members of parliament, both Senate and National Parliament, they are now in opposition. Who will now supervise our elections? The president is in charge of 20 opposition parties, including Raila Odinga as his vice chairman. Deputy president has 12 parties. Now who will supervise our election. That will ensure that we will not fight. Because now we are seeing people are going to fight. Even these party primaries. People are seeing now all boxes are banned of UDA, of Wasimio, One Kenya coalition, like UDA also coalition. These two parties are now coalitions of about now 20 parties in one block, 12 parties in one block, which will make now about that the two parties, apart from ourselves now who are independent like me today, we will now, how are we going to handle these people? Because now we don't have government, in that case, in Kenya, to supervise our elections. That's why now I am still appealing to the United Nations Security Council and United Nations His Excellency Secretary General, His Excellency Antonio Guterres, and United Africa Union Chairman, and East Africa too. Although now Muigai Kenyatta is still actually the chairman of East Africa Community, but let us rely on United Nations and Africa Union. May they send us actually soldiers, even soldiers, not even only IBC people, but to send us soldiers, neutral soldiers, to come and supervise this election. Because now we don't have the chief of general staff commander. Now president has already run to opposition, and deputy president, again another second in command, has already joined opposition. So who will be now supervising election? Can we rely on another Kikuyu called Chief of General Staff of Kenya Army, Robert Kibushi, to supervise election again? And in that kind of scenario, when they are all now in opposition, yes, even they themselves, even the Kenya Army, all the soldiers are in opposition because their commander now, President Uhuru Kenya, is in opposition. He is the commander in chief of Kenya Defense Forces, Kenya Army. All security, is the chairman of security. So we don't believe now all security of Kenya to be in government. No. Unless you are mad. No. We have totally everything as opposition. Because now the security chairman of Kenya Republic, which is supposed to be the Kenya president, has gone against the oath of office. He is now in opposition. The second command, Deputy President Excellency William Samoei Ruto, also His Excellency is the second command of His Excellency the President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is going to supervise our elections now in that case. That's my question. And you are seeing now this simple primaries. Now people are burning, these ballot boxes. All over. Embu, everywhere. Kisumu, Bondo, even Sugoi, people, even where these people are coming from, even the deputy president, even Katundu, where President Uhuru Kenya come from. People are burning things. What about the real election? Nobody will come. On August 9, 2022, who will actually supervise the election? Because now the government is not in place. Our chief of general staff, commander-in-chief of general staff, Kenya Army, Uhuru Kenyatta, our president, is in opposition. Is the chairman of 20 opposition parties as council chairman. Another second in command of Kenya Army, actually His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, deputy president, is also in opposition. United Democratic Alliance Party of 12 parties, who will supervise Kenya elections. Apart from outsiders to come and check. Or we go as what the now Somalis are doing. We need to call all 50 tribes elders to elect for us a president. That's now what the Somalis are doing in some few weeks to come. Because of this kind of a mess. When people are not actually, when the election is not supervised in a fair and and free fair way and free kind of life, then it means to avoid the chaos, better elders, Nyumba Kumi elders from all tribes to elect the president in that case. Otherwise, even there's no need of election because we are going to fight seriously. We need to have a proactive process which is to put in place in order to maintain law and order in that case. Okay? Social cohesion and that kind of a commission that respect the rule of law. In that case, like Nyumba Kumi elders, or from all 50 tribes of Kenya to elect the president for us, rather than us going and ban each other, and even people will even kill themselves, in that case in various ways, if we are now to go to election without the head of state. Ni kama kupeleka watoto kwenda kufanya mitihani na hakuna askari hapo, na hakuna headmaster hapo, na hakuna walimu wengine hapo, unapatia watoto papers wafanye. Alafu hata hakuna time, mtu anakuambia utamaliza saa ngapi. What will happen to those? Is that an exam? No. What about the election of Kenya if we have to go in that manner? We go as an opposition, everybody. Nobody is fighting election. Now we will start fighting. Oh, there was no. This is unfair, and you know it was not done well. What will happen? People will start burning, you know, stations. People will start burning each other. People will start killing each other. More than even post-election of 2007, 2008, and 2022 repeated election. It will be the worst election ever. You will be witnessing Kenya, God forbid. If we are to go to August 9, 2022 elections, when our president and the deputy president are in opposition, and Raila Odinga and other politicians also, they are in opposition, and they want also, all of us want, we have quite a number of us who want to be president, even including myself. So we now opted, okay, because now the president has refused me to fire for Jubilee ticket, because there's no that kind of provision online, which of course now we are digitizing everything. So there's no elective position for Jubilee, although I've prepared the government to 2018, when they knew that the government is in place. Now they have removed me that kind of position, so that I cannot have any way of filling the form. And if you another person who wanted actually to fill the form of ODM also, apart from me now in Jubilee, was actually frustrated until now he ended up in United Democratic Alliance Party from Jubilee, from actually ODM, from Orange Democratic Movement Party. None other than His Excellency Jemu Anjegi, a Kikuyu man. He was stoned at the Kisumu Condolence several times, nearly to be killed on several occasions at his home, and now he tried to flee that opposition party of Deputy President, United Democratic Alliance Party. Myself too, although I have not experienced so far now any kind of harassment in that kind of physical, but the way now that frustrating me also is simply because I have used a lot of my resources to make a manifesto of Jubilee Reformation Movement 2018 on August 15. Alright? August 15, 2018. Up to today, about 4 years. But now at the end, they told me no. The government is here. I have my own ministers here, assistant ministers, accredited diplomat of high diplomat, commissioners, and ambassadors, and the government that I'm going to do, and members of parliament, and assistant ministers and ministers of members of parliament as well. My government is here. But now I don't have any form in Jubilee to fill. They have only governors, you have only senators, you have only members of parliament, women representatives, and members of county assembly. President is not found in website worldwide. There's no president in Jubilee worldwide website. Simply because even Muigai have already gone to opposition, Orange Democratic Movement of Raila Odinga, together with 20 parties. So who will supervise Kenya elections? That's why I'm saying it is better for us to have a proactive kind of a system to be put in place in order to maintain law and order in a social cohesion that will actually respect the rule of law of Kenya elections. Otherwise, we are going to fight seriously. We need people who will help us actually to be responsible in overseeing our election August 9, 2022. From non-partisan soldiers, non-partisan observers, non-partisan clerks, even if possible, non-partisan, name them, even returning officers, and those people who are clerks. We need people from other places. Otherwise, how can opposition supervise itself? Different parties, oppositions. 20 from one block, 12 from one, and then we again independent candidate. Because now we have only now 3 kind of system in that kind of election. We will have independent people like me in presidential aspirants. We will have now 20 parties, one with one president of theirs, and again 12 parties with one president. Now how will that kind of a system be working? So here now we are seeing actually, so that I can conclude this matter, this is why now the whole place is in confusion. Raila Odinga now is waiting Uhuru Kenyatta to choose for him one Kikuyu to be vice president. Deputy president also, another opposition, is waiting. I don't know who is he waiting to have another Kikuyu, because now Kikuyu should be, this government will not be in place if there is no Kikuyu vice president or president. That's now the ideology of Uhuru Kenyatta. Kenya will not be existing unless we have Kikuyu one president or vice president in that case. Who told him that we cannot, they cannot be dispensed? Indispensable. Nobody is indispensable. Anybody can be replaced. Uhuru Kenyatta will leave the office very soon, like any other president, 3 of them before, but Kenya will continue. We don't have just to be ruled by former vice president and the son, Raila Odinga, and the former first black president, Jomo Kenyatta family, and Jaramogi family of Raila Odinga and Kenyatta family. That is nonsense. Hiyo wataleta vita. Hiyo watu wanaleta vita. Hebu aje Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta achagulie Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta Raila Odinga, whose father was actually the vice president, achagulie ataona takataliwa tu kama BBI. BBI will just, like the way we treated BBI, we rubbished it. Everybody said this is rubbish. We are told here, the coalition here, the committee is actually comprises of technocrats to scrutinize actually who will be actually proposed to deputize Raila Odinga. And who is the chairman? Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Hebu mwambie achagulie Mkikuyu moja, Kenneth Mata Karua ama nani ama Kinyanjui ama Jono. Utaona takataliwa tu, na sio mimi nasema. It's not me saying. Kenya we have now all 50 tribes. They are educated. Hata uende ukuta mzee blanketi katika whatever. Hata jaenda shule, anajua haki yake. They know their rights. Even those who are in school, they know the importance of election. They know whom to elect. They will not make a mistake to have Raila Odinga and his father was vice president, because Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is going to elect for him another Kikuyu again vice president, and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has been ruled as president. His father has ruled as for being president. It is impossible. Today, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, now it is reported here that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is defeated, even himself. In the coalition of 20 parties as a chairman. He is defeated. Yes, he is now pulling out. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, our president. Yes, that is the case. Let Raila Odinga pick whoever he wants. And you will see that at Alambisho Shini too. You will see me as the president of Kenya Republic even under independence. Jubilee Reformation Movement. They will see. Saa ine mitashinda hawa. Kama hasa unaona the list now of UDA party primary, the list now of Asimio of 20 parties, UDA 12 parties. They have now in their party primary have new people. So let me conclude this matter. Let Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta pull himself away from Raila Odinga and let him work his way along. And even the deputy president, who is in the government but is defeated and he wants to rule us, telling there will be another government coming. Which government? Serikali gani who our deputy president atengeneza? Na he is now earning money from this government and is defeated to rule us. Raila Odinga hata amefuta our deputy president kazi akiwa powerful prime minister ya Kibaki government. Raila Odinga was a powerful prime minister. He has sacked even deputy president William Samoei Ruto when he was a minister of agriculture. Is that not a very powerful minister? Mtu anafuta ministers. Raila Odinga was president one time as a prime minister of during Kibaki government, who was actually sick throughout his life. We have been ruled by prime minister, and he was sacking even ministers. He has sacked one time Deputy President William Samoei Ruto as Minister of Agriculture. He was in charge of government, all government businesses. Ndio alimaliza manyumba kuangusha, bila kujali, alimaliza makanisa msikiti. He was actually doing his reign. This is why this man is in confusion. More than even the rest of the politicians. Raila Odinga is in total confusion. Ndio analilia sasa running away, anasema hata yeye anasema nyumba yangu imeshikwa na moto tena kama ya Uhuru Kenyatta. He is now running to Uhuru Kenyatta. Please help me. Help him out. And Uhuru Muigai is defeated on his side. How can two lame people, two blind people help each other? si watatumbukia katika shida, katika shimo. So remember me 2022 as your president, otherwise I will not let you down. I will rule this Kenya by God's grace using the Holy Quran here and one God, which is found in the Quran also chapter 1:12, and in the Bible also that's 1:21. I will be ruling this government using both of these holy books. Inspiration, vision, and dreams of the holy books, the Holy Quran and the Holy Bible, to help you being a man fearing God. Okay? In Proverbs 1:7. The beginning of wisdom is the fearing of God, actually. The beginning of wisdom is the fearing, the fear of the Lord begins with the wisdom, actually. God is actually the initiator of, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord in Proverbs 1:7. So remember me 2022 as your president, otherwise I will not let you down. May God bless you, all human beings living in Kenya and beyond. Amen.
Amen.
Yes.